brilliant people. So today I want to talk about the problem with free will, because it does seem to be a problem that a lot of people are having right now, because they look at free will, and that they understand that, I suppose theoretically, that means you can choose whatever you want to do. However, for a lot of people, that actually comes with a subtext that, yes, but if you're a good person, you're going to choose to do what I think you should do. And of course, that doesn't really work. So I want to talk about that, because what happens with free will when someone else is choosing to do something that we wouldn't necessarily approve of? Well, when that happens, there are two things that I find is helpful to remember. One is what I call the golden rule of codependency, which is that if you don't want to be codependent, never make a choice for another being, never allow another being to make a choice for you. In other words, if you want to impose your will on other people, I'm not saying that you do, obviously, but if you do, or whoever does, those people, whether they would acknowledge it or not, they're being codependent with that thing. Whether they realize it or not, what they're saying is, in order for me to be all right, in order for me to feel fine, I need you to be a particular way. So, they might be saying it really loudly. They might think that means that they are being a very strong figure or something, but it actually indicates that those things that they're trying to control are actually really controlling them, because that's why they want to control it, because they think that in order for them to be okay, they need to make this choice for this other person. So don't do that. But of course, it doesn't stop us, particularly when we have a very active intuition. And we often can see trouble that the person is creating for themselves or maybe for others. And of course, that's not something that we want to support or encourage. Of course, we would like to support them to do something that is more positive. We would like to support them to live in their integrity. So in that situation, it helps to remember the essential rule of healthy relationships, which is to remember that all that we can do for another being is make it harder or easier for them to make a particular choice. Now, of course, you want to do your best to make it really easy for them to make choices that are in their integrity. And you do want to make it a little bit harder for them to do choices that are out of their integrity. But not by doing anything weird or using force, because force is obviously an attempt to make the choice for them. When I say making it harder, or easier for that matter, it's really mostly about helping them understand the consequences of their choices, helping them be really clear about what exactly it is they're actually choosing. If somebody's integrity says that they need to live their life in a way that, from our perspective, carries certain costs, for me, I walked away from a professional career that, a lot of people would think was, carried a lot of status and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't me. And so for a lot of people, I guess they did try to make it a little bit harder for me to walk away from it. But my integrity said that that's what I needed to do, because actually I needed to do something else. I needed to develop fractology. I needed to start to, well, obviously do what I do now. So what am I saying? I'm saying that it's not up to us to decide what another person should do. All that we can do is, in a healthy way, is not bring force to bear on their choices. Because even if they're not making good choices, well, they still have that right. But they also don't have their right to impose their choices on other people. So how do we do that? Well, what we do is, as I said, we help other people get clear on the consequences of their choices. Because if people are clear on the consequences of those choices and they're willing to own those, insofar as they're willing to figure out a way to manage those consequences, that's all that we can help them do. Beyond that, we need to respect them. And what does respect mean? It just means to accept that that is the choice that that person is going to make. So there you are. Yeah, that is the problem with free will. And it is a problem that we're going to need to grapple with if we are to live in a world that is diverse rather than a world that is conforming. But when everybody is living from who they really are, and therefore, exercising their own intuition, we are going to live in a world that is more and more diverse, because everybody is going to get to live from their own essence, and everybody's unique. So all that we can do is help each other, help each other see around each other's corners, so that we're clearer on what we're doing. Because if we're doing that, that's all we need to do. Because by doing that, we're just going to help each other to remember that we're brilliant.